Before we dive in, if you want weekly insights on finance, AI, and business that give you a real edge, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss what's coming. Let's get into it.
Last year, you could fill a grocery cart for about $120. Now it's over $200. And somehow the bags feel lighter. Eggs, milk, bread, chicken, the basics. So what actually happened? Is this just inflation? Or is something much bigger going on? Groceries didn't just get expensive overnight. What we're seeing is the result of several powerful forces hitting at the same time. Yes, inflation plays a role. When governments expand the money supply during crises, more dollars enter the system. When there are more dollars chasing the same goods, prices rise. Each dollar buys a little less. But that's only part of the story. After global shutdowns and supply disruptions, companies stopped relying on just-in-time inventory systems. Instead of keeping shelves barely stocked to reduce costs, they shifted to just-in-case. That means bigger warehouses, more storage, more insurance, and more redundancy built into the system. All of that adds cost, and those costs don't disappear. They get passed down to you at the checkout counter. Then there's energy. Food doesn't magically appear in stores. It's grown using fuel-powered machinery. It's processed in energy-intensive facilities. It's transported by diesel trucks. It's stored in refrigerated warehouses. When energy prices rise, even temporarily, every step of that chain becomes more expensive. Even when fuel prices fall later, companies rarely rush to lower grocery prices. Once consumers get used to higher numbers, businesses often protect their margins instead of cutting prices back down. And that brings us to something uncomfortable: pricing power. Many large food corporations reported record or near-record profits during periods of high inflation. When costs increased by a certain percentage, retail prices sometimes increased by more than that. Why? Because they could. Food is not optional. People will keep buying groceries no matter what. When companies realize demand is relatively stable, they gain leverage. There's also consolidation. In many countries, a small number of corporations control a huge portion of the grocery supply chain. Fewer competitors means less pressure to lower prices. If a handful of companies dominate the shelves, there's little incentive to undercut one another. And psychologically, groceries hit harder than almost any other expense. You buy them every week, sometimes multiple times per week. You see the price shock constantly. It's not like rent, which hits once a month. Groceries are a recurring reminder that your purchasing power has declined. Wages, meanwhile, have not risen at the same pace as food costs for many households. So even if your income stayed the same, your buying power quietly shrank. That doesn't mean you're bad with money. It means the environment shifted. So, what can you actually do? First, focus on buying ingredients instead of brands. Basic staples like rice, beans, oats, potatoes, frozen vegetables, and bulk grains usually carry the lowest margins. Pre-packaged convenience foods tend to have the highest markups. Second, compare price per unit, not just sticker price. A larger package isn't always cheaper. Look at cost per ounce or per pound. That small habit alone can reduce your bill over time. Third, rotate stores if possible. Price differences between retailers are wider than most people realize. Discount grocers, warehouse clubs, and local markets can vary significantly in pricing on identical items. Fourth, reduce food waste aggressively. A surprising percentage of grocery spending ends up in the trash. Planning meals before shopping and freezing leftovers can stretch your budget further without changing what you eat. But here's the most important strategy: protect and grow your income. When inflation is persistent, cutting expenses has limits. There's only so much you can trim. At some point, increasing income becomes more powerful than reducing spending. That could mean negotiating pay, building a small side income, learning a skill that pays more in today's economy, or investing in assets that historically hold value during inflationary periods. Rising grocery prices are more than an annoyance. They're a signal. They signal that the cost structure of the economy has shifted. They signal that cash sitting still slowly loses purchasing power. And they signal that adapting is no longer optional. Groceries aren't expensive because you're careless. They're expensive because of expanded money supply, higher energy costs, supply chain restructuring, corporate pricing power, and market concentration. Once you understand that, the frustration turns into strategy, and strategy is where you regain control. If you want more breakdowns like this that explain what's really happening in the economy and how to position yourself instead of getting squeezed, make sure you're subscribed, because understanding the system is the first step to staying ahead of it.
If this opened your eyes to new possibilities, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment with your biggest takeaway, and hit the like button for more breakdowns on finance, AI, and business strategy every week. See you in the next one.